How's it going, guys? Otter here, and we're gonna do some community casts. I got a bunch of games, so I'm gonna move swiftly. I hope you enjoy. I'm gonna start off with a game between Boomshada and Stanky versus myself and T Pops as the Wood Elves. If you played in these games with me, thank you. It's always a fun time. Oh, this is a Witch Elf Rush build that I ran. I'm gonna go and try and cover as many games as I can in a swift amount of time. And we're gonna kill that music because I think that's enough of that for now. And yeah. So maybe I'll give you some ideas on some things that you might want to do, and we'll see how it goes. Hello, how's it going? So yeah. Let's talk army comps because it's going really fast. Okay, so what do I have? I've got 5 Witch Elves, which are going to be my front line basically. I'm going to back them up with Sisters of Slaughter for the poison. I've talked to you through this already with another build. I'm not going to go over it again, or with another video. You can check that out if you're interested in how to run a Witch Elf rush. Some Dark Riders here in the back. We've got 3 units of Glade Guard, a couple units of Way Watchers. There is a Life Caster, I'm assuming standard kit with the Regrowth and Earthblood. Yes, sir. There's a Glade Lord up in the air. This is the male version with Helm of Discord. On the Beastmen side, we've got some Harpies. It looks like some Chaff, some Razorgors. In the back, I've got a couple Dark Riders. And any on this side? Not on this side. So I think we were trying to overload that left flank. We've got High Elves with the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower posted up in the woods, supported by Korok Man Rippers. And just spears and stuff from High Elves. Interestingly, there is the ROR unit of the the actual White Lions, not the pretender White Lions, and then Brave Shaman Beast and and Morga. So let's see how it goes. So early on, we've got some missile fire coming from the Wood Elves, and I'm going to go right into these spears and the Gore Herd. I'll interrupt over here with a charge from the Dark Riders. We'll try and shut them down. I did see the second unit coming over here, and I didn't want to get hit on the flank, so I just pulled the Dark Riders back and let the Witch Elves go to work here. Probably the attack orders were clicked on the Dark Riders. They might have had to reorient. This unit of Ungor Spearmen got absolutely shredded by the Dark Riders and like Witch Elf combo, and probably some shooting as well. And then a rear charge in here is going to be able to finish them off. So looking pretty rough for the Beastmen early on. They've taken some losses, like pretty heavy losses, I'd say, without getting much in return. Like, I know they are disposable units, but it's not the end of the world. But you still want to get some value from him, and I don't think he's been able to get any of that. In the back line, we've got some Harpies going in on Sisters of Thorn. Sisters of Thorn have some chevrons, actually, so their combat stats are kind of high. 39 melee attack, 38 melee defense is really good. And even though the Harpies landed on them, just not that much damage. Hey, Badass, I got a game with you in here, Badass. I'm gonna cast it next, by the way. We've got the Brave Shaman of Beasts getting tagged by the Supreme Sorceress of Beasts. So yeah, caster versus caster fight. I figured I could do some damage there, even though it is my lord and it's squishy. With the supporting Dark Riders, I'm like, yeah, if I can get a spellcaster off the map, pretty good. Grand Manticore is going to come in here and probably try and dive my sorceress. Seeing the writing on the wall, I tried to peel her to safety pretty quick. And Manticore did try and tag her, but the Dark Riders are there just to intercept and ensure that she gets away safely. On the far flank, we've got the Dryads tying up the Spearmen, and some Chaos Warhounds are starting to get into position to try and harass these Glade Guard, I suppose. Gore Herd are running to the distance, and there's some other cavalry that got away from the Harpies is going to regroup and come back in here. So I do get tagged, I guess, by the Fair Manticore, which did regroup here, but not too much damage, and I do have the 92 speed on my caster, so I will be able to pull it to safety. Death Hag's coming in here, starting to do some work. The Spearmen do die fairly quickly, and the presence of terror from the Death Hag is able to break these Spearmen. And as soon as they turn their backs to the Witch Elves and the Sisters of Slaughter, they're going to take a lot of damage. Over here, this unit of Spearmen is also crumbling, and the Brave Shaman of Beast has been snared by the Dark Riders and Witch Elf combo, and just overall not in a happy place. Morgar is looking for friends right now. He's looking for hugs. He's not finding it. On the far side, we've got some Chaos Warhounds that looks like they wrapped up the Spellsing of Life, which is a very nice pickup for the Beastmen. Glade Lord is going to try and get it down here and save her, and this is something you need to think about if you're going to bring the low tier stuff. I mean, look at all these models that are still left here, but they don't have any leadership support, so they were unable to finish the job in the Life Caster. She's probably going to fall back, rally, heal up, and have a good time. The battle between Morgar and the Death Hag is in full swing over here. I'm going after Morgar with the chariot, just trying to keep him occupied and using that anti-infantry bonus to smack him in the butt where I can. And then Korg Manrippers are going to intercept my Dark Riders, but I'm going to withdraw them, send in the Sisters of Slaughter. The Sisters of Slaughter, with their really high melee defense, are going to be a problem for the Halberds to deal with, because Halberds typically have low-ish melee defense, so that's going to be a pretty good situation for me. Over here, a couple of rear charges and Witch Elf things are going to help out these Dryads, and it's going to be enough to break them. And now the balance of power is starting to trend a little bit in our favor. Some shots from the Glade Guards are going to go into the routing infantry, and over here the Bracian the Beast is going to get wrapped up by the Dark Riders, and probably not be too long for this world. That is its second Manticore summon though, so I don't know what other spells it has in its kit. Yeah, it's got 3 other spells, so probably too many spells. But yeah, Morgar's over here. He's got his Chaos Spawn shenanigans, but I think things are starting to go pretty well for us, and I do have a lot of other replays to get through, so I just quickly fast forward. We'll see how this kind of trends out. And yeah, I think from this point it was pretty much just a cleanup. I think all of the mobility is in our favor. Morgar, I mean, he's got a lot to deal with here. The Death Hag is chasing him. This Glade Lord could have come in and killed Morgar about 10 minutes ago, but he didn't. And yeah, I don't know. Some other stuff over here is just hanging out, having a good time, doesn't need to do anything. I'm going to go on to the next replay. That one's a win. I'm sure that was a win. I'm not going to belabor that. Okay. What else we got here? Yeah, let's do this one. This is a jamboree with a lot of people. We've got Boomshada, Stanky, Vippa, Judge Badass, myself, and Scythian, aka Gilgamesh. We are playing on Eshin, which is like, I thought it was a small map, but it's actually larger than I gave it credit for. I don't think it's a completely balanced map though, having played on it a few times, because I do find that the team that's on the red deployment zone has a little bit more of a favorable starting position, because they've got that wood, which is almost like right in the corner. It's a really nice place to set up artillery. Like you'll often see players put their artillery right here, and this wood area with like a hard terrain piece right on the one flank is very easy to defend. On the other hand, here there is a wood, it's much more sparse, and there is a terrain piece, yes, that's true, but I don't know, I just find having that larger wood, it really lets you hide a lot of cavalry and infantry and other things, and it favors, I think, this side. But anyway, so Scythian's over here has got a couple of skirmish cav. He's playing the High Elves and a bunch of chariots, including a life caster on a chariot. Chaos is being played by Sticky, I believe. I could be wrong. I think it's Sticky, and I think Boomshada is playing the Vampire Counts. I might have wrote this down somewhere. One sec. Yeah, Boomshot is playing Vampire Counts, Sticky's playing the Chaos, Vippa is playing the Empire. I'm matched up with Vippa over here. I am playing Norska. So this is my Marauder Chieftain on foot. I decided to go with a heavy Fimir build. I was thinking that the Fimir would cause problems for Chaos and Vampire Counts, but unfortunately for me, I ended up matching up against Empire, which is probably the faction that I least want to be fighting with my Fimir. But hey, what are you going to do? Judge Badass is rocking the center position here. He's got the Marcus Wolfhard build with a Witch Hunter, who can also buff that shooting if he brought that ability. He did. Accusation. Burning Head's going to rip down the line here. It looks like it's going to curl a little bit. It is going to get into some of my own stuff, unfortunately. I'm not sure if that was cast by myself or Badass. I'm assuming me, because my caster was going. So this is just a big mash right across the front line. It's Amor. The Flagellants, they do have the physical resistance, so Burning Head can be very useful against them. Over here, Franz, he's supported by the Light Wizard and by the Jade Wizard, so pretty much wherever he is, it's going to be a really hard fight for me. Even though he's fighting in Spears and in Fimir, which are probably some of the best counters that I have on the roster to fight him, because he also has the support of Flagellants, he's not getting Fist of Rambo, and heals are an issue. I'm going to send over my Marauder Chieftain, a little bit brave to take on Karl Franz there. Probably a mistake on my part, but I did want to put some extra damage on him because frankly I didn't know what else to do. Over here, Chaos, they do have their Hell Cannon, which has been shooting into the Heralds of the Wind, but overall, not a very active Chaos army over here. I think Chaos could be sending some resources to go and support his allies over here, because there's, I mean, the infantry is not going to catch the chariots or the skirmish cav, so they're not doing much. And the Hell Cannon, I mean, to shoot at skirm cav, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. So here comes Scythian. He's going to send over Teclis, the amazingly powerful, and try and help me out on this front line. I definitely appreciated this help at this point because it was really a grind between myself and Vipra, plus the Skelly Spearmen and a few other units that kind of mucks things up. So yeah, Flagellants are chasing off my spears. I've got a unit of Fimir over here, which I guess broke off and probably rallied and I didn't quite notice just yet. I also have a unit of skirmishers in the back, which I need to be rallying, so some micro mistakes there. I do recognize that they're going to try and kite the Flagellants and tag the Outriders, but I think not with much success. We will see. The Flagellants are probably faster anyways, so I don't think I could even kite. Spearmen are going to lose over here to the Flagellants, and over here, Karl Franz, he gets a little bit trapped here between 3 units of Fimir. So the Fimir are going to absolutely pound him to dust. It's a bit different than the other scenario where he was kind of tucked in with his Flagellants, and the Norskins get the last laugh on that one. But Empire state troops, though, I think have mostly won the front line. So the Empire are still a big deal, and they will be a factor later in this fight. I do have some Marauder Horsemen in the back here. I didn't think I could trade with the Outriders at this point because they were so low on leadership and models, so I just kept them in the woods for now, and I was going to bide my time. Badass is getting into it thick over here on the front line with the Vampire Counts. He does have a unit of Knights that is stuck in with the Chariot, and he's also starting to feel the effects of the Mortis Engine running through his state troops. But his state troops did kill the Vampire front line, so they kind of did their job. Now the question is, could the special units like the crossbowmen and other things help to bring down the Mortis Engine? Of course, he also has Marcus Wolfhart, but Marcus Wolfhart does not have magic damage, so that is not going to give any special damage, I guess, buffs versus the Mortis Engine. Teclis is hanging out. I'm not sure what he's looking to do right now. Maybe just waiting. He probably dropped his Phoenix to help out Badass on the front line. I didn't quite catch that. My apologies, but I will try and keep a closer eye on Teclis as this fight unfolds. Over here, things are looking really rough. Most of my stuff is dead now. All I really have left is my Marauder Chieftain. He's going up against a Vargolf, a Lifecaster, and more. And he is on foot, so it's not like I can just like pull out and go somewhere else. Like, I mean, he can't kite the Vargolf, so I'm pretty stuck in there. Scythian recognizes this. He does come over to help me out here. So now we're starting to see like really a mosh pit of factions coming together here. There's myself, Vampires, Empire, High Elves, and Overwatch Fire being provided by Judge Badass here, trying to pick away at these Vargos, so that is definitely very much appreciated. Fortunately for me, some Fimir do rally, and I'm going to use them just to basically help my Lord escape and not take too much damage here. Teclis comes in here, drops a Flock of Doom, and probably some other stuff. I don't know. I don't see any enfeebling foes or like that just yet, but it helped. It really did help to turn this fight in my favor. And yeah, my Lord's okay. The leadership is stable for the Fimir. And Teclis, if he does attack the Vargolf, he should come out on top because he does have fire damage and magic damage. And that fire damage is going to definitely punish a unit like the Vargolf, which does have regeneration. So over here, Badass is doing like a heroic defense, just trying to hold the line against the Chaos Hordes, which have decided to get engaged. So this Chaos player is a friend of Boomshada, who's been playing a little bit more with us lately, so shoutouts to him. Fireborn are hiding in the woods, and surprisingly they haven't been detected, so they're just hanging out right now. And it looks like Teclis is able to kind of just do his thing while those guys hang out. Oh, okay, it looks like they've been activated. The call has been made to the princes of old, and I think they need to definitely help out this archer line, which is currently getting ravaged by Vargeist and Fel Rats, but they are also being shot as they fight, and all 3 of them are crumbling. So not the most dire situation for the archers. I know they're taking losses, but worst comes to worst, they're going to fall back, and they will be able to fight again. Demigryph Knights are going to be chased off by Teclis. There was a lot of cat and mouse between my Famir and the Demigryphs, which I didn't show you, but trust me, it was pretty crazy. Very, very fun. Vippa was microing the hell out of those Demis and causing me a lot of issues. But here come the Fireborn. They're full HP. They've been saved until late game. They have not lost a single model. And we also have some regrouped Heralds of the Winds who were taking the shots from the cannon most of the game, but they did, I guess, flee to out of range. Balance Bar is currently in our opponent's favor right now. My army is very much tattered. Judge Badass's army is also mostly tattered. I mean, we have our heroes alive, but in terms of frontline, at this point, there's almost nothing left. Fortunately for us, we do get a full surround on the Varghulf. The Fireborn do have that fire damage, of course, and the bonus versus large, so that is a perfect counter to Varghulfs, so long as they have enough unit models. And that Varghulf should be crumbling out very shortly. Over here we've got Kolek coming after Marcus Wolfheart. He's going to be trying to remind me who the Magic God is, giving him a few tenderization tips on how to soften meat. And yeah, it's pretty rough. Over here, some great swords. They're going to break off probably. I think, yeah, Badass is going to turn those crossbows around and get them shooting in at Kolek. There's going to be a desperate net here from probably Wolfheart, who didn't like the tenderization tips so much. But this blob right here, if this just stands together with infantry, there is not a lot we can do about it. We have a little bit of crossbow ammo, but once that goes out, it's pretty much it. Yeah. So I don't know, we got Vlad in here, and Vlad is just, he's a super tank. Like, he's basically one of those lords you pretty much just have to ignore as much as you can, which I'm not doing. I guess currently have everything balled up around him, but I'm going to change that and get over to Kolek. The mass of the Famir are going to lock Kolek in place, and the spears are going to try and kill him and just be a nuisance, really. But leadership definitely an issue. If you look, all of them are almost wavering up. I do have to be mindful of the terror of Kolek. I need every little bit of damage I can get out of these spears of Famir to just go into Kolek, who's very, very healthy right now. Fireborn are going to go in here, and then I guess they'll be intercepted by a Chaos Giant, who is fighting with Teclis. But yeah, Teclis plus the Fireborn and actually did a ton of damage on this Chaos Giant, way more than I would have expected. The Chaos Giant really needed to try and shelter himself within a unit of infantry. That did not happen yet. If I were the Chaos player, maybe I would be thinking of just bringing these Skirmcav back to help us, the Giant free. They're probably more important than these very tattered crossbows at this stage. I mean, this guy is 1,500 gold. You don't want to lose that decisively. But yeah, Teclis a Fireborn just kicked the crap out of this Giant, which is kind of shocking. I would have expected the Giant to do a lot more work on Teclis. I mean, in fairness, he did do damage. Vlad is coming and added to that. But Teclis is going to fly away and heal up. Not a big deal. And yeah, so maybe a prudent strategy, prudent strategy to keep the Fireborns in reserve, because they've already basically paid for themselves by killing the Giant. With Teclis, of course. So there's some chariots here. At this point, the Scythian does have some opportunities to be maybe tagging some infantry and just making Kolek chase him around the map as Marcus Wolfheart shoots him. Fireball going to go into Marcus Wolfheart, and that's a miss. But if he's able to continue to chip down Wolfheart, he can probably kill him with fireballs. At this point, I mean, I don't even know if it matters, really, if he kills Wolfheart. He's got very tattered units and spears that are probably not going to fight anyways. I mean, it might pull the balance of power a little bit, but honestly, the only thing that really matters is probably Teclis, and to a lesser extent, my lord. I mean, Wolfheart's almost out of ammo. Granted, he does have the net, and in theory, he could shoot Kolek. But yeah, Vlad's going to go after him. Scythian's going to hit these Marauders in the rear with his chariots as I'm fighting with him with the Famir. I'm going to try and chase after these Marauders as well to stop them from chasing after Scythian's chariots. We're going to... Yeah, I don't want to fast forward because it's still a really close game and there's a lot here. So Teclis is up high and dry in the sky, and I don't have too much left. I think bringing down the Mortis engine at this point in the game is very, very important. These Ithalmar chariots, well, they are Ithalmar chariots, so they do not have missiles, so they cannot shoot the Mortis engine. I guess Badass is going to send in his Outriders here just to snare for a little bit to give Marcus a little bit more time to shoot. Vlad, interestingly enough, has reached his healing cap, so that's a big deal. That's something we need to monitor. Marcus is maybe on fire at will. I did see him shoot into the Chaos Warriors here. Probably he wants to put that damage on the Mortis engine, Vlad, or Kolek. Witch Hunter is also shooting in here. Some charges from able to take out that stuff. Teclis, a little bit brave here. Going to go and put a rear charge in on Kolek. He did have Earthblood on his life cap, which is a bit surprising. He's got regrowth on Teclis, so it's still turning a legal build. He doesn't have any duplicates, duplicate spells there. The Chariots are they're gonna play again cat and mouse with Kolek there. They're gonna hit the infantry and get out there. But those are Ithalmar Chariots. They do have a lot of mass. Oh, there is one that there is a Tyrannoc chariot mixed in there, which can shoot. So I didn't catch that, but it's everything. And the Ithalmars do have a lot of mass that can go through. We got the Mortis engine doing its thing here, chipping down the spears. They're going to win away for sure. Marauder Chieftain is on his deathbed here. I think I might have received a heal from Badass. I can't recall. I must have, because it's showing him at a healing cap. Or no, I think I got one from Scythian. I think Scythian gave me a heal here. Vlad? Yeah, I guess he got chipped out here from Teclis, Marcus, and maybe a little bit of damage from my Marauder Chieftain. I'm not sure, but yeah. No, Marcus Wolfheart is... if he had one more shot, he probably could have finished Vlad, but actually it's enough to trigger the Crumbling. And down he goes. So, Badass showing his marksmanship skills there, and taking out a very important piece of the Vampire army. The Mortis Engine is still smashing my Marauder Chieftain, but the Mortis Engine effect is better against multiple entities rather than individual entities. At least my limited understanding is that. But it does have also 120 weapon strength, a bonus versus infantry with armor piercing. So against a Lord on foot, it's kind of in its element. Witch Hunter is going to get smashed by Kolek, and this is, I don't know. I guess Scythian's going to pull away here. The Fireborn are going to hunt down some Skirmcav. Fireborn are having themselves a nice game here. They're at somehow 112 leadership, which is absolutely insane. I don't even know. And yeah, 78 speed versus 90 speed. Somehow they were able to tag the Marauder Horseman with the charge bonus there. Teclis is going to get in on the Mortis Engine. And the Bright Wizard plus Teclis probably can kill it. And he's killed the Mortis Engine. He's killed the Giant. He's almost killed Vlad. Just going to where he's needed and just doing a ton of damage to some very key targets. But despite all of this, balance bar is still even. You still have a very healthy Kolek. Basically no ammunition left on Marcus Wolfheart. Some chariots. And Teclis is now at his healing cap. My Lord is on the verge of death. We've got crossbowmen running off to the sunset here. It's just a crazy game. What can I say? Marcus Wolfheart is finally going to get his heart fed to the wolves by Kolek. At least I think he will. Here comes Kolek. He doesn't seem to be in a rush to finish the job. He's just walking up there. Playing with him as a cat would a mouse. And Wolfheart's dead, but he had himself a good game. Infantry is not braced here, and Kolek is off on Wolfheart, so Chariot's going to get a nice free charge in here. And I think another charge where Teclis is should be a rear charge, probably break them off. I'm going to start fast forwarding just a little bit here because I want to get on to some other games. Kolek's going to try and chase the Chariots, but get rear charged by Fireborn, and then it's going to be a pile into the finish here. Kolek is low and kind of wavering. Teclis dives down on him. Kolek is not facing Teclis. Probably he could have put his damage into Teclis rather than hitting the Fireborn. And Teclis is able to eat him up with his Super Pigeon. And now it's just some cycle charging. And that's the end of the game. So, fun game. I think Scythian definitely showcased the power of Teclis. 331 kills. Plus he healed my Lord, plus he killed a giant with support of Fireborn, plus he killed a Mortis Engine, plus he killed um, what Kolek at the end. So like I don't know if you can give chevrons like well I know you can't give chevrons to a lord, but my god, if you could give chevrons to a lord, Teclis would be walking around like one of those American military generals with like 35 different badges all over his uniform. Uh, and badass, really nice stuff with Marcus. He did snipe out some key stuff, and his infantry was like critical for holding the line against Vampire. I do think it did come out on top there. Um, just a super fun game. Well played to Stanky Boom and Vippa. It was really close. I think if Vippa was able to keep friends alive maybe a little bit longer there, that could have maybe helped. Maybe he could have hunted Teclis. I'm not sure, but he might have been the best option on their roster for hunting Teclis instead of getting bogged down in a fight with Thimir and Spears and all that. All right, so we got Time Lord. Yes, Ika-chan. Let's go. Going up against Adarero. Adarero. I don't know. I don't do English. So what do we have here? It's War Lightning Cannons, Rat Ogres, like a pretty, I don't want to say typical Skaven build, but like it's balanced. You got your shooting, you've got your monsters, you've got your lords. It's a build that can definitely deal with a lot of things that the Beastmen can offer. It can take a hit with the chaff, it can dish a hit back with the shooting and with the monsters. So Centaurs are off on the flank here. They are skirmish cav. We do also have Chaos Warhounds with poison. We have Chaos Spawn. Interesting choice. This is a unit I tend not to bring very often. Turin has been advocating for them recently in some of the videos that I've seen from him. I'm not sold on them. Maybe they're okay in certain niches, but we'll see how they do this game. It is fun watching other replays because you get to see how people play the game differently than you, and sometimes you can learn from that. So Warblinding Cannons going into the Ungor Spearmen. Not the optimal choice. I do think it's going to be repositioned probably to deal with Kazrak. I don't really know what other targets are around here, so Time Lord is a little bit limited by a lack of great targets to shoot. The one thing that the Warp Lightning Cannon is doing, though, is forcing the Beastmen to advance, which is really all Skaven usually wants. They just want you to run into their hordes of bodies. Centaurs with throwing axes did take a lot of damage from this Warp Lightning Cannon, plus a bit of chaff, but mostly the Warp Lightning Cannon and a few shots there were able to basically eliminate that unit. It is being shot in the back here. I think Time's going to want to pivot that soon. Got some Skaven Slay Spears, just mucking them up. On the far side, what's going on? We got Rat Ogres smashing into Gore Herd. I do think the Rat Ogres are going to start to take a lot of damage here without some sort of summon support. But this center pocket, this is really where the Skaven strength is. Wherever the Hell Pit and the heroes are, they're going to have no problems. Balance Bar is currently in favor of Beastmen, but if Kazrak dies, and he probably will, let's be honest, there's a Hell Pit, and Plague Priest, and a Warlock Engineer, and Ikit, and so many other things that can just walk over here and kill him, and he can't get his health back, then that might cause a full rout for the Beastmen. But Balance Bar still dead even here. It looks like on the far flank they were able to, I guess, push off one of Centaur's throwing axes. The second unit continues to be shot. So these guys might want to find another home. It doesn't look like they're able to get through this chaff screen plus the Rat Ogres. Certainly they need to make a decision. Standing there is not helping their cause. There's a Brave Shaman of Death over here. I'm assuming he has Spirit Leech. He does. So we'll see if he's able to drop some of those on Ikit. Ikit is pretty healthy right now, 2,900 HP. Kazrak is running for his life. Surprisingly, he escaped that huge blob of death that was following him. That is amazing. He does have 47 speed on foot. That is remarkably fast for an infantry unit. To put that in perspective, Sisters of Slaughter and Witch Elves are rocking 42 movement speed, so he can outrun a chick with no clothes. I don't know if that's an attribute that you want to be proud of, but who am I to judge, right? Who am I to judge? So, Plague Priest and Ikit are going to kill this Warhound. And their spears are also going to die. So Skaven, they got to be careful because at some point, Beastmen, they have to figure out what's their plan to kill the Hell Pit. because their Skirm Cav has been getting wrecked by this Warp Lightning Cannon all game. And they're heavy hitters. I mean, okay, they have Chaos Spawn. They've got Bestigor Herd. Bestigor Herd do damage, but they don't do damage really well against a Hell Pit, at least not if the Hell Pit is surrounded by stuff. So I think it's gonna be tricky for the Beastmen here to just kind of power through this. There's no Minotaurs, there's no Gorbel, so it's gonna be tough. Looks like the British Shaman of Death get caught out here a little bit. And it's gonna need its its Walker. I don't really know. It's a cow shape. Walker. This is a cow. I'll try and make the jokes. So there's Gore Herds in the back. And yeah, I think I'm gonna just this mosh pit is going in favor of Skaven, I think. The Chaos Spawn are in here. They're trying. They're at 13 kills against Plague Monks, which should be like a pretty good matchup for them, except that those Plague Monks are summons, so Skaven doesn't really care. You should keep in mind Bounce Bar might be slightly artificially pulled because of the summons. It's sometimes a little hard to gauge, especially with these two factions, because you have Beastmen, which can also pull out summons sometimes. Although in this particular case, I don't think they have them. Looks like a Doom and Darkness gets popped here. Actually, that's causing a collapse of the Skaven front line. So very sneaky stuff. An underused spell, and in this case being used very effectively. So some Beastman rear charges, combined with a Doom and Darkness, has caused a full collapse of the Skaven front line. Making matters worse, the Plague Monks decided to crumble at that exact moment in time, and all of a sudden the Skaven hero block is now finding themselves fully surrounded by the Beastmen. But Khazrak, maybe feeling a little bit too overconfident here, has decided to come back and run the fight. I'm not sure that's where he needs to be. Granted, he's fighting a Fight Priest and the Warlock Engineer, but if that Hell Pit turns around and damage starts going in on the Beastman lore, that could be really troublesome for the Beastman. An absolute grind out here. That Plague Priest desperately needs to get another summon up, and there it goes. Then that summon is going to be put here. Chaos Spawn up to 100 kills on this, but yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Khazrak just, you see the balance bar shift every time Khazrak is getting hit by that Hell Pit. Council Guard is there as well, don't forget. Council Guards do have Unbreakable, and they also have the Guardian ability, which is something that I often forget about. But the Guardian ability is going to keep Ikit and his hero block pretty safe in the fight against Khazrak. And now Khazrak is fighting a 3-on-1. 3 heroes against 1 is not the type of numbers you want game you want to play if you're the Beastman. We're going to see another Doom and Darkness go off here, but the Council Guard is a really nice insurance policy to Doom and Darkness play. I've sort of fallen in love with Doom and Darkness lately. As a Dark Elf player, it's a nuisance to fight all of the Skaven chaff. So if you can get them to just run away, they like that anyway, so it's kind of a good thing for them. But if you can get them to run away, then it sort of evens the numbers game a little bit. But Council Guard, you don't have to worry about that with them. Help It, you don't have to worry about that with them. So having access to those units really does change the dynamic of the game for the Skaven player, because you know that even if the rest of your army runs away, there are 2 units that you can count on that are always going to be there. One is the Help It, 2 is the Council Guard. And I do believe you can also, if you are worrying about leadership spike and terror route builds, you can bring Death Frenzy, which I believe also gives you into psychology. I'm not a Skaven player, so don't quote me on that, but it is an option. So I think now it's a grind out. I'm going to fast forward here, and hopefully we can get on to the next game. Khazrak did escape. I do want to, once the bounce bar gets past the double swords, I'm going to call it, but yeah, here come the Bestigor Herd. They're going to get a nice rear charge in here. But this is where the Warlock Engineer is really coming into effect. You see the HP just dripping off this Bestigor Herd, and normally that would be like a pretty good situation for the Beastmen. But over time, they're getting chipped down. The Council Guard, yeah, I don't know. The Council Guard are completely dead here. Yeah, this could be dire for for Skaven. I mean, wow, this is really a fight to the finish. Khazrak very, very low on HP, but as is the Hell Pit. But the Hell Pit is able to give him the business, which means that the Skaven leadership escape to safety. They are going to rally. Beastman, once your Lord's dead, it's usually the end of the game. Similarly for Skaven, right? But yeah, who's this that just died? The Plague Priest. So no more summons for Skaven, but just two tattered. The Beastmen are two tattered. So congrats to Time Lord on that win. That was a really fun one. Chaos Spawn, 64 kills, 137 kills. Probably half of them were against summons. I don't know. You guys be the judge. Did they pay for themselves or not? I'm not sure. British Shaman of Death, very cool. Kazrak on foot, also cool. Just I don't think Kazrak had any business being anywhere near the Hell Pit. So for this build, I think just too many Centaurs against Skaven. You don't need the AP shots as Centaurs, and probably trading missiles not going to be great. He would have been better off with Ungor Raiders, which just have regular bows. That would have caused more pressure. Alternatively, he could have gone with a Gorbel and maybe if he cut two Centaurs, grabbed the Gorbel, kept the Gorbel with Kazrak. Similarly to how Ikit was, escorted around the map by the Hell Pit. Then that's more of an even fight. I still think the Hell Pit would have won that because I think there's some balance issues that need to be addressed with the Gorbel. But yeah. All right, so let's do this one. If you guys like bows, you're gonna love this game. I don't often play High Elves, but sometimes I do. And I played a random game against a guy named Major Payne and his buddy. They're pretty good players. The first game I ran an Alarielle build. Unfortunately, I don't have the replay. And he was able to squeak out a close victory with his ally. He ran the same build a second game in a row, which is usually dangerous against a player who knows what they're doing because they can counterpick you, and that's definitely what I tried to do here. I also ended up with a different ally on my team. I was just playing with randoms in this particular game. So we'll see how it goes. Double Flamespire. This is a page right out of Time Lord's book. The first time I tried to run Alarielle and two Sun Dragons against the Vampire Air Force, which worked like pretty crappily, I'm going to be honest. In the first game, actually, he had one Terrorgeist instead of two, and he had a Vargulf on the ground. The Vargulf was able to pin my Sun Dragon and prevent it from getting off the ground, basically. Excuse me, which was super annoying because I needed to pull it up and heal it with Alarielle. So I decided to go with Flamespires instead this game because they're just better in the air, they're faster, and in terms of duelist situations. And if he was going to run a Blood Dragon Vamplord on a peg and be like 105 speed, then I wanted something that could keep up, and Flamespires can. 120 speed. They are possibly the fastest air unit in the game with their native speed. I know other things can pop buffs and go faster, but that base 120 speed is huge. Early on, I'm going to be aggressive, dropping some bombs across the front line of the Night Goblins. I'll probably will torch a couple of Sirens here, so I don't want to drop too many bombs there, but yeah, Flamespire's doing some pretty good HP damage. I don't think they have any kills just yet, but believe me, they did kill almost half the unit of Night Goblins early on. You are seeing the bars drop here as I continue to just trap on the Night Goblins. Yeah, so I mean, hey, that's 400 gold, 450 gold. If they're the fanatics, it's not. I think they're just the regular. Over here, there's Arch Shaman hidden in the woods, a Ragnarok, Gron the Paunch, and the Biggin in the back. Biggin is chucking rocks at vampires. Let's be honest, who cares? The vampires. I've got my stuff hidden away in the woods right now in the backside. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to do my shtick. So I've got a Lithanar, the Handmaiden, both of whom are going to buff shooting. This guy, Lithanar's got Loose, plus 20 reload skill, Handmaiden, similar thing, and then I've got a Light Wizard for a snare. So if any of those vampires come anywhere near the back line of Vampire Coast, then that's when I'm going to drop in there. I'm going to hit them. But so far it looks like they're content to kind of hang out on the front line. So I'm going to meet them there. Damage from the Flamespires there. I'll let them, just rub up here on the shaft. Foot of Gork goes down here. Probably overkill on Memory Mod. I don't know. It did not even crumble the Memory Mod. It looks like they're going to get a deal. So that foot could have been saved for later when the Sisters came into play. So once I see the Terrorgeist land on the ground, that is my opportunity to bring in the damage. And damage I will do. I'm just pulling into range here. And already the Terrorgeist is losing that fight just horribly to the Flamespires. I do think Flamespire Phoenixes almost single-handedly make it just too hard for the Vampire Counts to contest the air against the High Elves, if the High Elves do want to go that way. But yeah, look at that look at the Terrorgeist just completely get melted. And now these sisters are raining shots in on the second one. Now I want to just highlight, look at their missile strength. It's 40 missile strength per Sister of Avalorn because of the reload speed. The reload speed buffs from the missile. So and that's going to go down here. I think it's on the Terrorgeist. So he's dead. Conspar's still like kind of even. There's still some shenanigans in the back here. There's down the Paunch on the Chariot. Still the Caster, and the Arachnaut's doing some work here, but now the Arachnaut's stuck in the Spears, and honestly, it's in a really dangerous place right now. It has no more chaff because the Night Goblins got messed up. So as soon as that Terrorgeist is down, which it is, the next thing I'm going to shoot at is that Arachnaut as soon as I can get it free. So knowing this, my opponent, he drops in some Force Goblin Spider Riders just to try and stop them from shooting, but it's a bit of a desperate ploy. I did have the unit of Reavers and a unit of Phoenix Guard in reserve, so time to shine for them. They're going to go in there and shut down the Spider Riders. I will send the 2 Flamespires here. I wasn't sure how they would trade against an Arachnaut Queen. It does not look like very effectively, actually. I lost, even in a 2v1 scenario, I lost more than half of the HP on this Flamespire Phoenix. So I was like, yeah, that's not fun. Even with the spear, so I'm like, I gotta rethink that. I will be pulling it out shortly. And then that's kind of the point where I remembered I had the sisters. So I will be dropping some sister action soon. Over here, not to forget, my ally, he does have a Gallows Giant, who's currently being handled by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, and I guess Ron the Paunch, but he does also have a Fleet Captain. Fleet Captain, this one is the Pistol Variant, I think? No, it's not. I thought he had anti-large like a halberd that would come after this, but it doesn't look like it does. I'm surprised. Gallows Giant, Sisters, and everything else are going to absolutely shred this Arachnaut Queen with the net. And because of that, Balance of Power is going to start to go pretty heavy in our favor. At this point, there's only the Blood Dragon Vamp Lord. He's going to get rained on by pretty much everything. And that's going to be it. So, well played for the Greenskins. The fire damage, by the way, I just want to point it out, is very useful against a unit like Grom the Paunch and the net. So if you are suspecting on net and Grom build, Sisters are a unit you might want to give a look. They handle themselves in the back line against low-tier skirmish cav as well, which you tend to see a lot from Greenskin players. Look at the Rogue Idol just get absolutely shredded from the shooting of the Sisters of Avalon. So, yeah, fun game. I don't use the Sisters very often, but man, they are a good unit. They are so strong if they're on the right targets and able to fire freely. Rogue Idol, very cool unit. So in the game we played before, every time Grom was in trouble, he would run back to the Rogue Idol. And because the Rogue Idol does a lot of damage in melee, you'd have to leave him alone, and then Grom would go out and adventure off in the world again and start trying to hit things with the Chariot. So that was like his safety net when we played the first game. It was really interesting to see that. But with stronger shooting, I just didn't have to go and stand right next to where Grom and the Idol were standing. And yeah. I don't know about Pain's build. I think Vampire Counts are a really hard faction to play in 2v2s. Not impossible, but they're hard. Alright, I've got another matchup here. I am seeing some warnings saying that these have already been recorded, but or sorry, that they might be out of date, so I'm going to save those ones maybe till the end. Oh, this is a great game. Okay, we've got Sixpath and myself versus Kronos and Sergio. So Sergio is a very, very, hi Tamara, yeah, I see that. Sergio is a very, very strong player. He's often playing late at night, which kind of corresponds with our time zone. And his strongest factions are Empire and Dowie. And he's a little bit traditional in the sense that he knows what he likes, but he plays it very, very well. And he has a lot of experience playing with his build. He knows it's balanced. He can respond to a lot of things, and yeah. So, I mean, on the one hand, I can kind of prepare for it. On the other hand, it's still tough to beat. Okay, so what do I have? Actually, I wanted to run a Seaguar build. I guess I was in the mood for shooting. I don't usually bring a ton of shooting, but yeah, so I brought back the Seaguard. 5 units of Seaguard. You don't see them very often. I'm supporting them again with the Sisters of Avalorn, so we're going to see them in a different scenario here. Sixth Path is wearing the, or is bringing the Shades. He's got 3 units of Shades, got a Master up front, some Dread Spears across the board, and Big Daddy Malekith up in the air. For myself, I'm testing out Eltharion the Grim. He's not a lord that I've used before. I don't think he's OP. I don't think he's one of the best lords. I do think he's a good lord. I do think he's viable. There's just better options if you want to play super competitive, but sometimes it's just fun to bring different things, and I hadn't used him much since the DLC dropped, so there you go. What do we have on the Empire side? We got Boris Todbringer up in the air, Light Wizard, and an Empire Captain. That is a very deadly squad. You got the speed from the Light Wizard on a Pegasus, which gives like incredible map control, plus the Empire Captain. So both of these, 105 speed, they're going to be super turbo. Boris Todbringer is going to bring the quote-unquote hammer in behind. I don't think he gets the Hilden Hammer because he's out in, I don't know, Ulrich land, whatever it is. But yeah, Peg Knights over here from Bretonnians. We've got a Damsel of Life on foot, which is usually hard to kill. Probably a bit too much on his kit. By the way, I want to point out Sergio is playing with a random someone we have not played with before. I do not think that they were a new player though. Probably kind of middle of the road, I would say. There's Rapance here, who's got, I would say she's one of the less competitive lords on the Bretonnian roster, but she is there and doing her thing. So early on, we got some skirmish fights. Reavers are going to be trading with the Empire Knights and the Outriders. The Outriders can do so much damage with their explosive shots. Even like in a missile trade, they might even be able to burst down Lothran Seaguard, even though there are more models on the Seaguard. I haven't tested that, but the Seaguard have the advantage of range, as do the Heralds of the Wind. So I can use that superior high elf range to kind of screen those guys out very effectively, actually. On the other hand, Malekith is going to get hounded here by the Light Wizard Empire Captain. A little bit brave, because if you look where they're fighting on top of a lot of shooting. Of course, Boris does heal up, so probably he was willing to take that. And there are the Silver Bullets who are providing some counter support here. Sixth Path, he's going to drop his Dark Riders back through the spear screen. Not a bad choice. And the net does go down, but the net is in our back line. Now I'm going to go over here and try and help out Sixth Path with Eltharion. On the other hand, here comes the Bretonnian hordes pushing up on the front lines here. They're not content to sit back and wait. So that is a sign of a good player, because sometimes less experienced players will be content to sit back and protect their field. Trebuchet, but his ally is not doing that. He's definitely pushing up. So Malice plus Eltharion doing really, really well here on the early trade. The Empire Captain takes a little damage. He gets terrified. Boris is down to about 20% HP. Light Wizard very, very low, so definitely too greedy, I think, early on, diving that back line. I think Eltharion definitely tipped the balance of that fight in favor of Malekith and was able to help kind of even the odds. But now the question is, are we getting too greedy? The Silver Bullets are over here, the Peg Knights are over here, so once you get to the kind of that midpoint, you might want to pull your big stuff back, and that's what we do. We're not going to make the same mistake, I think, that the Empire did. We do have Empire Knights to deal with here. We do have Demigryph Knights to deal with. We do have an Empire Captain who's being super annoying on the Heralds of the Wind, just locking them up. On the far side, the Rapance de Lyonesse has started to push our front line really, really hard. And honestly, I can't do much to hold this with Eltharion over here dealing with the Empire Captain and the Demigryph Knights. Balance bar currently in favor of our opponents. Sisters of Avalorn and Lothran Seaguard are going to do what they can to get these Outriders with grenade launchers off the field, or at least deplete their numbers. Pegasus Knights over here, they're looking for rear charge opportunities. I guess they're probably going to hit some Dread Spears, probably break them. They're wavering. Over here, the Scourgerunner Chariots are being screened out, and fortunately for us, we did kill this Empire Captain, but man, he is slippery on that Pegasus with his 105 speed. It's just taking us forever to finish murdering him. I've got other more important things I need to be doing, but until I finish him off, I can't really be doing them. So over here, the Lothran Seaguard and other things are going to try and snipe down these Pegasus Knights. Pegasus Knights are going to do some nifty dodging techniques. Still full on their number of unit models, with 18 unit models. Light Wizard over here hitting the Sisters of Avalorn. So we've won the left flank but the center and the right flank is very much in favor of our opponents, and so much so that like it's basically just completely collapsed on that right flank. I have one unit of very tattered offense here, which is now locked up by spears, and there's nothing I can do about that. So what can we do here? Well, we can go after Repentance because she's so low. Boris is over here playing with sisters, so that means I've got an opportunity here to go after the Italian Legendary Lord, and I will do that. Damsel of Life is rushing over here, trying to help her out. I was hoping that I could break her before that heal dropped. Let's see if that goes off. Honestly, I don't remember what happens here. But yeah, Boris absolutely shredding this unit of Sisters of Avalon, which sucks. They're terrified. Oh yeah, there's the heal. I guess I peeled out because there were spears here. 2 units of spears. I don't want to take a ton of unnecessary damage, so yeah, Repentance does unfortunately narrowly escape the terror out there. I guess I dove back in to hit the foot squires, just trying to cycle charge and buy some time for my shooting. We do have a nice little concave firing arc here that we were able to set up, though. We did kind of regroup a little bit. Since they pressured the side and not the center, we could stabilize a little bit here with Arthurian in the middle. He's going to get another charge here on Repentance, so thank you to Sixth Path for locking up Repentance with those very clutch Dread Spears, and also kind of taking one for the team here with the Master, locking up the Spearmen, just to give, again, a little bit more time for the other stuff to shoot. So front line's going very well here, but this is a dangerous situation. So Malekith has gone back here to shut down the cannon. He has done that. I don't think the cannon even had ammo. I could be wrong. There's also Trebs back here, but this is why it's dangerous, because you've got the Lightcaster and the Goon Squad. Somehow this Empire Captain from Hell is back. I think Vlad should recruit him to his undead armies. I don't even know. He was right on the edge of the map. He was basically shy. I don't understand. But yeah, Malekith is in deep, deep trouble here. And I don't think I noticed that fast enough, actually. I needed to send Eltharion over there to support. Probably start sending some shooting, but like really I was just trying to stabilize my own backline because the spears kept charging in. I needed something to interrupt so I could continue to fire because I needed my shooting online. Like that was not negotiable. But a little bit of a disconnect here is going to take Malekith off the map, and that's a big deal, man. He pulls heavy on the balance of power. We are very much down at this point in the game. So Shades are going to regroup here. Fortunately for us, we've killed Repentance. We've collapsed most of the Bretonnia front line. We can make a play potentially to get rid of this Lifecaster, which we definitely need to do because Boris with heals is going to be a nuisance, and there are still some very healthy Pegasus Knights up there. So honestly, it's looking really bleak for us. We don't have any mobility outside of the Master and the Noble on a Chariot, but the Noble on a Chariot is really good counter to Bretonnian Infantry Trav, which is why I brought it basically. And yeah, somehow we're going to have to shoot down the Pegasus Knights. So, but in terms of shooting, okay, they still have 2 field trebuchets in the back. They're not the blessed trebuchets though. Those could be punishing to my shooting, but I think versus the Bretonnian archers, I just from volume of fire with the Shades plus myself, we do have a bit of a shooting advantage here. And of course, anything that gets low, I can dive it with the Therion and just break it with the Terror Ride. So I think our opponents probably need to be the aggressors at this point in the game, but it looks like they've, through choice or not, they're mostly falling back and trying to regroup around the chariots, or around the trebuchets. I'm not really sure. So Altherion's healthy though. He does have heals. He can heal the Noble. He can heal the Master with his crappy heal, by the way. It's Apotheosis. I forget how much that heals for, like maybe 400 or something. Like it's not much. Yeah, 480. So it's no regrowth. Regrowth is in the 12 to 1300 range. So there's a big difference there. But yeah, Boris Todbringer is here. He's going to get in a nice charge on the Master. Master, very, very low here. Possibly going to break, maybe even die. Boris is going to take some shots. He can shrug shots with the best of them, though. Like, in a game of shot for shot, Boris often... well, this is how Boris would play a game of shot for shot. He would punch you about 10 times, and then you would punch him about 10 times, and then he would go home, see a doctor, get his arm fixed up, and then come back to you and try and fight you. That's how Boris would do it. So don't play shot for shot with Boris. That's my suggestion. He's getting screened out by the sisters. He's dodging a lot of shots. So ammo management is becoming an issue. These ones are almost cooked on ammo. These ones are almost cooked on ammo. I've got 24 models here with a decent amount of ammo, but they're pretty low. So honestly, it's going to have to come down to an infantry fight here at some point, a hero fight, I guess. Not infantry. The Trebs are almost out of ammo too, so that's good. So forcing the fight on the life caster, because we definitely need to get that out of the way. The noble is able to kill it. I think I did pop a heal in the master over there, so he stabilized. The Peg Knights could probably dive him and kill him, but maybe not without taking some spears. And I guess they're hesitating for that reason. There's a unit of silver bullets here. So Sergio wisely snares Altharion, and he's going to drill with those silver bullets. The silver bullets do have stock, remember, so I didn't know they were there. I mean, I probably should have guessed or remembered, but yeah. Silver bullet shooting plus the Peg Knights. Lightcaster, Boris Todbringer. This is almost an all-in play here, right? Fortunately, the Shades show up, and the Sisters of Avalon are going to continue to kill the Peg Knights. Terror is enough to break them. These guys are terrifying. And suddenly, in a situation where Altharion was outnumbered, outgunned, now he's got some friends, and yeah, it's a pretty even fight up here in the air. He's gonna get taken out just from, I don't know, just barely. Altharion. Charge is going here from the noble into the foot squires, because that's kind of what it's good at. Yep. This is something I've noticed. Chariots tend to get stuck on artillery batteries. Like the pathing is just retarded on artillery, so you gotta be careful about that. I'm gonna get netted for probably the third time in the game, or at least the second time. He netted Malkiv once, he netted me twice. Silver bullets are shooting in on me. I do get charged by the Light Wizard, and I'm gonna get charged by Sergio's healing pigeon lord thing. And now it's like it's a fight to the death, man. Look at the leadership. It's brutal. He's wavering. Boris is on a sliver of HP. By sliver I mean 600, that's regen. So yeah, he's in better shape than me. Altharion's gonna break off. Balance bar very, very not in our favor. What can I say? Like it's just not going well for us. But in terms of like actual ground fighting power, there's not a lot left on their team. Yes, they have Boris. Yes, they have some spears, but the spears are getting cycle charged by the it's not a master, it's a noble. As we speak, and that just ended really quickly because Boris came over there. Wisely, Sergio has sent the Lightcaster to chase off my lord. Unfortunately, I didn't have any shooting to screen out the Lightcaster. At least they were just on the edge of it was just on the edge of my firing arc, where I couldn't really stop him from chasing my lord off. But I guess a couple shots went in here on Boris. He did break. The Dark Elf Master got terrified. Balance bar is just insanely in our opponent's favor at this point in time. I don't even understand, because I'm starting to for the first time in the game to feel like maybe we got this. And if we don't fully like rout from army losses, I think we stand a chance. Now it comes down to the micro of the infantry. Really, infantry positioning is going to be key here. So there are some spears in the back, but they're not in the right spots. They're too far away from the main fight. We did get a full surround on the foot squires, who normally would trade cost efficiently with Seaguard and Sisters of Avalon, but when you get the rear charges in, you're going to get bonuses to your combat stats, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. So instead of just balling up, there's going to be an attempt to reposition the infantry and really try and get in these flanks, and continue to pressure the life caster when we can manage to do that. And one thing about Shades, their combat stats are decently high. 42 melee attack, if you give them a charge bonus of 16, I mean, they should do well enough to land hits against spears and kill them fairly quickly. Master should be able to get in a charge here. It looks like Boris, he just booked it off the field. So there's the Lightcaster, 2 units of spears. The Lifecaster, who's currently getting ravaged. Suddenly, balance bar is starting to inch back in our favor just a little bit. Just a little bit. Master doing what he can to bring down this Lifecaster. Here comes the Lightcaster. Probably going to try and finish off this Master, because the Master is a big deal right now, but he is on a peg, and pegs don't have the best mouse in the world. So I'm going to respond to that. I'm going to send all of my infantry there. I'm going to try and blob up around it as much as I can and prevent him from ever taking off in the air again. He's going to basically shatter, break, whatever you want to call it. And now we've got the Life Wizard who is running away. Masters over here. Got Shades. Like, I don't know, man. Suddenly, as soon as did you see how much the Light Wizard pulled that balance of power? Like, it was insane. Now that he's shattered, all of a sudden it's supposedly an even fight according to the AI. At this point, I will fast forward. I think you can see what's going to happen here. Life Wizard is, oh shit. Oh, balance of power just dove again. I guess because the Master must have died. That's probably what happened. But yeah, if the Light Caster goes down, these Spearmen, so we've been able to fight the infantry like one unit at a time, basically, get the full surround, because they kind of came in piecemeal. Same thing's going to happen here. Going to send 1 or 2 units in, and then the other one is going to go around to the rear and try and get that rear charge. And that will do it. So crazy game. Super, super fun. Thank you to Sergio and Sixpath and Kronos for playing that. That was awesome. All right, I've got some games here from Sixpath, which I haven't gotten to yet. So let's open them up and see what happens. Got High Elves versus Lizardmen. So on the High Elf side, we've got this fairly traditional High Elf build in some respects, with the exception of Eltharion being mixed in there. There is some spears in the front. We've got archers in the back, Sisters of Avalorn, Dragon Princes, and that's it. And look at how wide this Lizardman army is in comparison. We've got Pohak, Cohort. I don't speak Vietnamese, but to me that name sounds Vietnamese. I'm guessing these are Vietnamese lizards. Razordon Hunting Pack, ×2, Feral Cold Ones, Skinks, Spears, Skinks, Spears, Skinks, 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 Spears. I mean, that's how most people run Lizardmen if they want to be competitive. The Skinks are just so cost effective. But to handle one here with the Gun of the God, what's it called? The Sky Power Laser Orbital Strike Burning Alignment that can rip across the side, so we'll have to keep our eye out for that. Transformation Kanan, Panans, Flock of Doom. And yeah. Razordon Hunting Pack. So the Razordon Hunting Pack does suffer from shorter range than the Salamander Hunting Pack, which I think is a big deal. Because if you're repositioning, you're not shooting, and for that reason I tend to prefer the Salamander Hunting Packs. I think they just give you more utility. Even though their raw stats might be lower, I think you are going to get more damage out of them. Because you can fire from a longer range, so you'll be firing more often. From Manticore, going to dive the backline. Eltharion, I guess, is going to go and respond to that, but I do think it's a summon. I'm not sure it's the best use of his time. Maybe the Headmaiden could have dealt with that, and Eltharion could have gone after the Skink Chief or other things. Dragon Princess did get in here with the Pack Pohawk, whatever, the Vietnamese lizards, and I think they traded effectively with the Pohawk Cohort. One unit of Dragon Princess just died. This is devastating. Here comes a Sky Shot from the lizards. But the Spearman dodged it. So nice play by Sixpath there. And actually, it mostly eradicated his own unit of Skinks. So a little bit of payback for that bounce back. But there, the Grimm's up in the air here. No doubt he's going to be diving down and trying to deal with the Hanuman. Or whatever these are. Feral Cold Ones. Feral Cold Ones are rampaging, but they're locking up a lot of this high shooting. On the other hand, the left flank does seem to be stabilizing. Spears and Skinks are getting rid of all, and Spears, I think, is a good matchup for the for the Skinks. Good matchup for the. It's pretty even. Probably the Lizard coming on top. This one's okay. Master's going where he wants to, but Tehana wants too deep with it. This is a mistake. His attack and animation just pulled him deeper. Tehana one's got to regroup, and he's got to lead with his infantry and his cav. He did that really well at the start of the game, and the balance of power was in his favor because of it. But now he's too far ahead of his army with his lord, and now he's getting shredded by shooting. And I think we might see the balance of power tip back in Sixpath's favor here if I'm going to make a prediction. Don't forget there is a fair Manticore. It is pulling the balance of power a little bit here. The firing arc did get shut down temporarily here. Ooh, Razordon Hunting Pack. These can go into melee too if they want. I know they can shoot, but yeah, there they go. So a little bit of utility coming from the Rizamon Hunting Pack here. Does it say their combat stats? They don't have the best combat stats. With the charge bonus, they might be able to kill some archers, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was cost effective or not. Shots from sisters are gonna go in on them. I mean, I don't know. Across the front line, pretty even. Some units here inactive that should be being used. Over here, the Silver Helms have gotten beaten by the Vietnamese wizards. And the Resonant Hunting Pack, I don't know what they're up to. Just hanging out. Master has been stuck up on Crossovers. That's a good situation for the wizards. The Handmaiden's in here with Hanalon. She is an anti-large option, so one of the better options for dealing with Hanalon, because there's a bit of mass to help base her. She'll probably also help out with the Crossovers, but Aetherian's getting wrapped up here. Overall, I mean, Dance of Power is in favor of Hylics, but man, I feel like they don't have a lot to work with here. I mean, they have Aetherian. I guess their spears are still healthy. Not really sure. But the Ferrocold one's going to get killed by some Dragon Princes and some shooting. I think diving the backline for the Razordons didn't really work out. It seemed like they took a lot of damage off of that. I don't know how many kills they got on the archers. Probably they could have been just kept a bit more in reserve and used to tag Aetherian. And you could have continued to use the Skin Chief to go off on archer lines and stuff like that if you needed something to just be there and stop it. A huge cast from Tehanawan kills the unit of spears and basically allows Tehanawan to regroup with his own spears. But there's two units of archers here who have a minor firing arc here. This one can turn around, start shooting Tehanawan. Very close fight. It's gotten Balance Power's back in favor of the Hylics here. Yeah, the Handmaiden's still able to shoot pretty well. Well, I guess Tehanawan's decided to deal with her because he doesn't like her shooting the Skin Chief. I don't know if I agree with that. I guess he does the bonus versus infantry. She's an infantry. He's a big guy. He can knock her around. But she does anti-large too. I don't know. I think wrapping her up with Skinks is the way to go. Or, yeah, okay, so he wraps her up with Skinks and goes back into it. Alright, I dig it. It makes sense. She's close to breaking too. Yeah, Terra Routed, there you go. Cool, but because Tehanawan ran away from his front line, this stabilized. The sisters are back online. I'm going to fast forward a wee bit here. In comes the Skin Chief. In comes Tehanawan. Rear charges from the Master, from the Noble. Aetherian gets rammed in the ass from Tehanawan, but Tehanawan is out of support right now. He needs something to shield him from the damage. Ooh, Sixth Path, being very ballsy. He's going for it. He senses blood, sends Aetherian in there. And it looks like Tehanawan's trying to pull out instead of finishing the job on Aetherian. And, oh, he tried, but yeah, that should do it. So, well played. I think, yeah, maybe Tehanawan a little deep there. But nice stuff with the pack, Quahog pack, whatever, Hop pack. Man, I will never be an auctioneer. They did good. On the other hand, I think the Handmaiden, it gave the Lizards a lot to think about because she was just picking away at the large things, and it was like almost an overcommitment to send Tehanawan after her. He didn't have a lot of shooting, only 3 units, but they gave him a lot to think about. I was interested to see how the Resident Hunting Pack were going to do there. Honestly, I was a bit disappointed with how they performed. So, yeah, maybe it's a unit I need to experiment with a bit more. Got another match here. Tomb Kings versus Empire. Sixth Path versus Sleeping Druid. I do not know Sleeping Druid. I have not played with him before. I'm sure he is a wonderful person when he is awake. So we've got Setral the Imperishable, a Bone Giant, Ushapti Great Bows, Sepulchral Stalkers. So a very common Tomb King build. Luminarch of Hysh is on the other side, Empire Captain, General of the Empire. So the Luminarch of Hysh in cannons make this a very difficult matchup for Tomb Kings. Not to mention Tomb Kings also has sort of no way of healing their lord. So if the Empire player brings Fireball and just spits fireballs at your lord from a distance while they're shooting you with cannons, it's really punishing. Of course, they can also, if they feel like a different flavor of lord killing, they can just fly over you and drop the Spirit Leash until you're dead. And there's really not much you can do about that aside from trying to trade back with them. Look at that Luminarch shot into the Bone Giant. It just took out like 30% of its HP. That was absolutely insane. And does the Bone Giant even have missile resistance? I'm not sure. I don't think so. He's trading back. I mean, you don't... Okay, let's be real here, though. With the Luminarch of Hysh, you do not want to trade shots with the Bone Giant. The Bone Giant will come out on top just because it has a larger HP pool. Unless you have a Life Caster, in which case, yeah, go for it. No, I would still not recommend it. What you want to shoot with the Luminarch is this guy over here, is Settra. You want to avoid the Bone Giant, and you want to shoot Settra. That's not happening, actually. So the Bone Giant is coming out on top. So mistakes, I think a big mistake here by the Luminarch. Even though it did do a lot of damage to the Bone Giant, you know, it took it down to half HP with 2 shots. Crazy. But you don't want to lose it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, Bone Giant misses. That's going to be costly for the Bone Giant. Oof. Glancing shot there. Okay, Settra is getting out in front here. He's actually fighting Rice Guard, which is crazy, because I think the Rice Guard could just turn around and fight that. Like, yeah, they're going to do that. With the support of the Empire Captain. Rice Guard might lose against Settra on the Chariot, but they're gonna do damage and trade effectively, I think. General of the Empire is coming over here. This is tough for Settra, man. Settra is like almost 4K. He has an expensive lord, right? So, I mean, you get way more value shooting Settra than the Bone Giant. Bone Giant, I don't know what it costs. Like, I'm gonna guess 1,900. It's expensive. Probably maybe 2K. I don't know, like around what a Necrofex Colossus is, I'm guessing. But Settra on a Chariot is probably the same cost or more. And more important, it just has such a big effect on the balancing power. The balance bar is in favor of Tomb Kings here. The Chosen of God or Ushabti Great Bows, not Chosen of God. Ushabti Great Bows are doing a lot of damage to this hit spread. But I think these guys, oh, wow. Yeah, Boris? No, General of the Empire. Yeah, he took a lot of damage there. Oof. So this Empire Captain, I don't think he's doing anything to help the fight. If they brought a Life Caster instead, he would have been able to heal his Luminarch of Hysh. He would have been able to heal his General of the Empire. So I think there's an issue with the army selection of this Empire player, because if he brought those tools, this should have been an easy win for him, I think. Look at the shot. Oh my god. Even though the Luminarch died, it's already paid for itself. Look at how much damage it did on the Bone Giant, and how much damage just with that one shot it did on Settra. Like, the Luminarch of Hysh is just... It's not a unit I'm a big fan of for various reasons. I don't know. It's a very different style of game we're seeing here. We've seen a lot of like balanced and rushy games. This is very sort of methodical game almost, at least in the early on when they were trading shots. But looks like Tomb Kings have won the shootout, at least so far. And now Empire is choosing to engage. Now I do think the handgunners could have been pushed up a bit earlier to maybe screen out those Ushabti Great Bows. I'm not seeing much in the way of cavalry from the Tomb Kings, aside from like Settra with interrupts on the Chariot. But even Settra, you don't really want to be like driving around next to handguns, because the handguns are going to do a lot of damage to him. So Stalkers could maybe do it, but I mean, Stalkers are not really ideally used to fight handgunners. They're better off fighting cavalry. So yeah, I think the handgunners, if I'm the Empire player, I would have been more aggressive with that for sure. Empire Captain is getting sniped out here. And these Chosen or Ushabti are surprisingly accurate with these shots. Like, I'm kind of shocked that they've done as much damage as they have on such a small target. Wow, I would have expected them to be better at shooting, like, I don't know, cavalry or flying or just, oh my god, this Empire Captain is not in the right neighborhood right now. I think he did not see them, perhaps, or maybe he did and it was feel fly. The only root target the Empire Captain really has, I think, is this Bone Giant and Settra, and possibly Ushabti Great Bows. Those are the only places he's going to be choose. Or there's Necrotech, or Tomb Prince. You could go after the Tomb Prince and try and 2v1 him. Bone Giant's wrapped up here. Shots going in on the Empire player. Empire Captain is tagging Cetra. He'll get a nice rear charge in there, I think. But, man, no, Cetra's fast, man. Cetra does not serve with, what's the speed, 84? It might be enough to get away from the peg once the peg lands. I mean, the peg might get in that first charge, but after that, Bone Giant is crumbling here. He needs to be pulled free of these flagellants. And maybe he's got to scoot back to the back line here and just basically stand in here for the Chosen of the Gods. There's no Necrotect. So if you are going to bring a big monster like a Bone Giant or a Hyro Titan or something like that, I would strongly recommend at least considering bringing a Necrotech so that you can put some heals in there. Because Bone Giants they're sort of like Mortis engines and other things. They can be a victory condition. Oh, my voice is low. Thanks for telling me, Red. So I'll try and bring the microphone closer. I have been having some problems with my mic lately, so thank you for letting me know. I will possibly switch headsets or just buy a new headset if I can't fix it. But yeah, so Reiksguard are in here with your Shopti Great Bows. Normally that would be a good fight for them, but they're already pretty tattered, and the Sepulchre Stalkers are shooting. It says obstructed, but I swear I see them shooting. Like, I'm not hallucinating here. Somehow they're able to snipe the Reiksguard. We've got the handgunners. They're going to unload on the Sepulchre Stalkers. But in a 1v1, Stalkers will come out on top. They did take a lot of damage here from that initial charge. Killed almost half a unit, which almost pays for the handgunners. But yeah, they need some support. Generally, the Empire is being chipped down here. I'm sure the Empire player's micro is being taxed, trying to dodge those shots from the Ushabti. Cetra is going to go right into this infantry blob. Ammunition is an issue now for the Ushabti. I guess Cetra's being really cautious and not diving these handgunners here. Tomb Prince is chasing after the Empire Captain on foot, who had been softened up earlier on from the Chosen. The Chosen are now getting broadside shots into the handgunners, so that's nice, killing a couple unit models, making it a little less dangerous for Cetra or his Stalkers if they need to get in there to do some work. Looks like they did get wrapped up from some Greatswords. Greatswords do have AP, did a lot of damage there. I think those Stalkers need to be maybe pulled through and chasing the other handgun unit. No, I'm not sure. Empire is they still have a fighting chance. They have some spears, they got some cav, they got some elements, right? The Tomb Prince is getting pulled a little bit away from his front line. I think he needs to be disciplined and go back and help his boys instead of chasing the Empire Captain. Honestly, the captain's kind of irrelevant at this point. He's so low on HP. Great Swords are killing the Sepulchre Stalkers pretty effectively. Oh, he does have a Necrotech. I was completely wrong. He does have a Necrotech. He does have a heal. So good on you, Six Path. Apologies for not catching that at first. I only saw your Tomb Prince and I saw Cetra. And that's all his heroes. But no, he's got the sneaky Necrotech in there, which I'm sure has been doing wonderful things to repair the skeletons. By skeletons, I mean Bone Giants / Sepulchre Stalkers. But yeah, no, I think it's trending in favor of Tomb Kings at this point. So Cetra lives. Cetra's not serving yet. Does Cetra have a wife? Because I might ask his wife that question if he serves or not. Sometimes everyone's all tough until the wife gets into the picture. All right. Well played. Yeah, Sleeping Druid, man. I think you need a life caster, and then the Luminarch of Hysh, man. You want to snipe the Lords, not the Bone Giants. That's my advice. But even though you snipe the Bone Giant, which is arguably the hardest counter on the Tomb King roster to a Luminarch of Hysh, still killed 2/3 of the Bone Giant. Almost killed it like straight out. I mean, with a bit of kiting and a bit of heals, it probably could have taken down the Bone Giant. That is insane. All right, what else do we have? A couple more games from Six Path, I think. Dark Elves versus Tomb Kings. That seems cool. And High Elves versus Norska. So let's do Dark Elves versus Tomb Kings, and then we'll get on to the last match. We've got a Hellebron build here with a couple spears, Witch Elves, the super cool Hydra, and the Siren of Red Ruin, which is kind of a niche unit. I think a lot of players are Not really sure how to use that unit to best effect. For me, I think it shines against undead. This is a very small army. Let's be clear about that. Look at how, like, let's allied troop count 530, enemy troop count 1299, more than doubled, if my math is correct. So gonna be painful. Screaming Skull catapults. Gonna be maybe like a terror build. Could be good against the Hydra. Hydra's not known for super leadership, 62 leadership. If they're taking shots from Skelly archers, other things, they might just route. Oh yeah, Savagey, what's up? Sorry, I think I confused you with Redsci for a second there. Yeah, it's good to hear from you, my Iranian friend. Man, we gotta get some games in together. Once your situation stabilizes and you're able to play again, it was good times. Okay, Skelly Spearman getting chopped up by some Dark Rider repeater crossbows. They are shooting into shields, and this unit is almost worthless. But hey, better using ammo on something than nothing at all, right? I guess. Somehow, I think the Dark Houses have got to find a way to even out the numbers. And for now, it's going to be the Hydra and the Light Cav that's going to do it. And the Siren of Red Ruin is shredding this unit of Skelly Warriors, doing surprisingly well here against this static formation. It is just out of range of the Skelly Archers. A nice pendulum going right down the line here from Sixth Path. Almost kills the Skelly Archers outright. I do think they're disintegrating off that one cast. So nice. 13 Winds of Magic traded for the erasure of a unit of Skelly Archers. That's going to open up some really nice opportunities for the Siren of Ruin, because now that that's dead, he can push up, start shooting spears or other things. You can even go right into the Screaming Skull catapult and try and knock that up if it so chose. Cascade of Souls is firing away in the back here. But now that the spears are locked up, I think the Cascade of Souls is going to be a little bit less useful. We'll see. Bringing down the War Hydra, I think, is going to be hard for the Tomb Kings. Arkan the Black, I don't think he was in the right neighborhood here. I don't know why he came over here in the first place. I must have missed it. Maybe he was trying to screen the out the Dark Rider repeated crossbows, but they're doing okay. They're still healthy. Looks like the Skelly Horsemen, which, although they're a nuisance, they are being shot in the front scenario here, so they're dropping. Another pendulum going down. That's going to be enough to trigger Realm of Souls, which is going to give, of course, army-wide healing to the Tomb Kings. We have Witch Elves over here on the side. I do think the Witch Elves can make a dash here and take that offline, or push in and take out that Casket of Souls, and there they go. I was going to say right on cue, but they went over to the Tomb Guard. Honestly, locking up the Tomb Guard as well is not a bad option. Of course, he's got Crone and the Master, who can also kill a Casket of Souls even more effectively than Witch Elves probably can. And the catapult though, I mean, it's not the most important thing, but it would be kind of nice to have the fight on the catapult. Wow, the Tomb Guard, they're dying really fast. That is shocking. The Witch Elves are doing shockingly well against the Tomb Guard. They don't know they have the anti-infantry bonus and so on, but yeah, with the support of the Siren of Red Ruin, they just shredded that unit. Well, it looks like the Siren of Red Ruin is going to be left out to dry there to fight in the Halberds. Not optimal. I think he needs to leave now that the Witch Elves have left. Yeah, I don't know what the Witch Elves are doing. It looks like they got dragged back into combat. They're neither here nor there right now. I'm a bit confused on that. Master and Hellebron are in here fighting with Arkan the Black. Arkan the Black should have some Skelly summons if he brought that special item. He did. It wouldn't surprise me to see this go down. Hellebron is doing her thing right now, her feminine thing, where there's blood flying all over the place. And Arkan is somehow coming out on top in this fight. I'm surprised the Tomb Prince was able to protect her, whatever, with Guardian. And Hellebron, like, she popped that blood thing, but there weren't any other like infantry units or other things to come in here and support it. Witch Elves looks like they finished off the tattered Tomb Guard. Hydra's also been tanking. Siren of Red Ruin shut down the artillery pieces, and shots going into the side of the Tomb Guard with halberds. Ammunition starting to get a bit light on the Horsemen. Balance bar still in favor of Tomb Kings, but we are seeing the Ushabti summon come down, so that means that the Tomb King is out of like army shenanigans. Now it's going to be like what you see is what you get, except for, of course, potentially summons from Archon. But yeah, actually he's got the double chariot there, so that the Tomb Prince is not going to be as good in a duelist situation, theoretically. But the Master and Hellborn did take a lot of damage back here. So we'll see how that goes. I do really like the chariot mounts on the Tomb Kings, though. Beastmen and Tomb Kings have arguably the best chariots in the game. I think you can make a case for Chaos as well. Dark Elf and High Elf are also up there. They're hero chariots. Well, I'm naming a lot of factions now, so whatever. I'm cheating. But here goes Alpha Strike on Archon, I think, but they got intercepted by the Tomb King. They gotta fight one or the other. I don't know what's happening here. It's just, this is like one of those bumper cars things that you get into when you're 5 years old. Your mom brings you to like Chuck E. Cheese's or wherever they have bumper cars. One of those amusement parks, and then you smash each other and you have a great time. But at some point, your bumper cars just lock up and you don't know what to do anymore. And then like the electricity cuts out and you're just sitting there like kind of staring at each other awkwardly. Like that's pretty much what's happening here. Except there's a Medusa, so it's more fun. I didn't get a Medusa when I was 5 years old. Definitely could have spiced things up a little bit. But yeah, I really like the play from this Tomb Kings player. He is using the Tomb Prince to screen Hellebron. Every time Hellebron comes in here and tries to make a move on Archon, you see the Tomb Prince swerve over there and intercept. There he goes, making his move. But I think it's happened a few times, so Six Path is wizened up to that. I'll fast forward a little bit here. Hydra is just tanking Tomb Guard Halberds. I mean, Tomb Guard Halberds doing a lot of damage there, but they're going down. Hellebron still not able to catch her man over here. The Siren of Red Rune gets chased off the board. I didn't see if she dropped her big thing here yet, but yeah. Smash. Hydra on a sliver of HP is able to finish the job. What a game. Yeah, Scourge Runner Chariot is really strong savagery. Super strong. They nerfed it, but it still definitely has a place in a lot of games. I tend not to use it that much because I can get chariot type effects from other things like manticores and Malekith on a dragon or whatever else, or other monsters, but there are certain matchups where they're still great. I got one more matchup here. This will be the last one of this cast. We have High Elf against Norska. If you guys do enjoy this content, great. Feel free to continue to give me replays. I can't promise I'm going to get them up every week, but if it's a fun replay and I get around to it, I will put it up on YouTube. What's up, Z-Melon? Yo, Z, I ran a game earlier today with a Norska build inspired by yours with a bunch of Famir. It was the first game I think I cast, or second game. It was fun. It was a really fun game. It wasn't quite the same because I tweaked it a little bit to deal with counts and chaos, which I didn't even end up matching up against, but hey. So there's a Sorcerer of Metal, got Throg, 3 units of big bad monsters, Marauder Hunters, typical Norskin frontline, Berserkers and Marauders, which can do very, very well against High Elves if they're not interrupted by things like this, the Noble on the Chariot, which is going to go into these Marauder Berserkers, interrupt them. These guys aren't wearing clothes. You want to think about running your Berserkers mid for this reason. Berserkers, you might want to put them on the flank or behind the shields, right? There's a weird mechanic in the game where sometimes the archers are forced to shoot into shields, even though they're in range of the unit that's standing behind the unit with shields. So that could have potentially protected the Berserkers. Here comes Eltharion. He's going to dive down here. He's going to get tagged by Armored Skinwolves, and Throg is coming in with his anti-large bonus to do some work on Eltharion. But Eltharion has kind of done his job here in the sense that he's slowed these Marauder Berserkers, and the Berserkers took a shot from his AoE sky thing. He's shimming. Marauders here smacking some Silvern Guard. Silvern Guard just holding firm here against the hordes of the Norskins. And we'll see if this changes the way that this matchup is played. Because traditionally, Norskin players would just run into High Elf spears and they would just smash them, right? Like there's very little the spears could do with only 30 armor. They can't shrug the damage. But Silvern Guard are rocking 75 armor. They're also, I think they have charge defense against all. They got some ward save stuff going on there. So like, if you just straight rush them with Berserkers and Marauders, it might not work out as how you imagined it would, at least historically. the Throg's getting a bit greedy here. He's diving the backline. This is a common mistake, like I said earlier, with the Henawan, and you see it in game after game. A Lord gets in front of his army, which he's doing here. Like, you look, this is where his shooting is, this is where his front line is. The Lord is up in front of his army, and that's usually the moment in the battle, in so many games that I've watched, where the balance of power shifts, right? He gets sniped, he runs away, there's no leadership support, there's no buffs being dropped by Throg. I think there's a leadership penalty for your Lord, wavering or running or whatever, and so it just puts so much pressure on the skins. They end up having to kind of fight from behind. So the first charge from Throg was great on Aetherian. They got the snare in there with the Skin Wolves, as they should have, but now balance bar is shifting in favor of the High Elves. There's a unit of Cav here, by the way, Rear and Reavers, which is going to make their entrance here, start harassing the backline, I would assume. And yeah, I think overall Aetherian has been able to stabilize the line. Without Throg here, that's GG. So I'm going to stop the cast for now. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and I'm having fun. I might put some more content up this week if I can find the time. We'll do some quick battles. Cheers, guys. Bye.